Hey everyone! Today I'm going to share with you the weirdest, most frustrating, but also most satisfying story of my life. This story is real, and I won't say my name because I still live in the same city as these people, but I can guarantee you that what I went through will shock you. My story starts like this. My name is, well, I won't say it, but you can call me Architect. I'm 29 years old and I run a small architecture firm in Denver, Colorado. I'm not super wealthy, but I love my job and I make an honest living. My wife Sarah and I got married 3 years ago. Sarah is an amazing woman. Smart, beautiful, understanding. But her family, well, that's a whole different story. My father-in-law, Robert, is one of Denver's well-known real estate developers. He handles multi-million-dollar projects, drives luxury cars, and is recognized in high society. And me? He never liked me. Never. From the day we first met, he looked down on me. "You're going to be my daughter's husband?" he asked, like I was some kind of pest. My mother-in-law, Patricia, was more polite, but I could tell she wasn't thrilled with me either. But the real issue happened last month, and believe me, after that night, my life completely changed.
Since our wedding, my father-in-law had been making constant comments about me. At family dinners, he'd ask, "How are you going to support Sarah with that small firm?" Or he'd throw out lines like, "A real man makes his wife live like a princess." I was patient. I didn't want to upset Sarah. She loved her father, and I endured it for her sake. But things escalated to a whole different level last month. Robert's 60th birthday party was being thrown at a fancy hotel with at least 200 guests invited. I definitely didn't want to go, but Sarah insisted. "Just a few hours," she said. "It's important to Dad." On the day of the party, I wore my best clothes. Sarah looked beautiful. When we arrived at the hotel, almost everyone was already there. Robert was center stage, accepting congratulations. When he saw me, his eyes lit up, but in a bad way. "Ah, the son-in-law has arrived too," he said loudly. The people around us turned to look. "Come on, let me introduce you to my associates." He grabbed my arm and pulled me over. "Everyone, this is my son-in-law. He's an architect, has a small firm," he said. I still remember how he emphasized the word small. Then he leaned in close and whispered in my ear, "You're going to love the surprise I've prepared for you tonight." In that moment, my hair stood on end. What was this man planning? As the party progressed, Robert's behavior toward me became even stranger. He kept coming over, touching my shoulder, asking, "How are you doing, son-in-law?" His smile looked so fake. Around midnight, the band started playing. Robert got on stage and gave a speech about his family, his achievements, the legacy he would leave for future generations. Then he looked at me. "And of course, my daughter's chosen husband," he began. He paused. He smiled. "Let's wish him luck too." Everyone laughed, but I sensed something insincere in those laughs. After the speech, Robert approached me. "Come on, I'll show you something special," he said. He took me to his private room on the upper floor of the hotel. There was a folder on the table inside. "Sit down," he said. He handed me the folder. When I opened it, I was shocked. Inside was my entire financial situation. My bank accounts, credit card debts, my office lease contract, even down to my college tuition payments. "How?" I started. "Don't ask how," he said. "What matters is that you can't give my daughter the life she deserves." I put the folder on the table. "What does this mean?" "Leave my daughter," he said in a cold voice. "Find someone suitable for yourself. The life Sarah deserves is far beyond what you can provide." "I love Sarah," I said. "Does love pay the bills?" he asked. "When you have children, what will you do? How will you educate them? How will you clothe them?" "You can't do anything," he cut me off. "But I'll make you an offer." He took another folder from the table. "This is a job offer I've prepared for you. You'll work at my company. $80,000 salary per year. There's only one condition." He paused, looking into my eyes. "You'll tell Sarah this was your own idea, and you'll postpone the marriage indefinitely." "What?" I said in shock. "You heard me.
Either you accept this offer and live under my control, or you leave my daughter." In that moment, everything became clear in my head. This man was trying to manipulate me. "And if I refuse?" I asked. He smiled wickedly. "Then I can guarantee things will get very difficult for you." From the next day on, my life became a nightmare. First, problems started at my office. City inspectors were constantly doing inspections. Quote, technical errors were being found in my projects. My work was being delayed. Then my clients started backing out, one by one. "We found another architect," they'd say. None of them told me the real reason. But I understood. Robert had sabotaged my business. Sarah was unaware of the situation. I wasn't telling her anything, because she wouldn't believe her father could do such a thing. But things started getting even worse. One morning when I woke up and checked my car, I found that the tires had been slashed. Another day, my office windows were broken. The security cameras were malfunctioning at the time, of course. I was sure Robert was behind these attacks, but I couldn't prove it. Then the phone call came. "Hello, son-in-law," said a familiar voice. It was Robert. "How's business going?" he asked mockingly. "You're doing this," I said. "Me?" he said in an innocent tone. "I'm just a successful businessman. I don't have time to deal with small architects like you." "What do you want?" I said. "What I told you before. Consider my advice. These things could get much worse." And he hung up. I couldn't sleep that night. This man was determined to destroy me. But I wasn't someone who would give up so easily either. The next day, I called an old friend. Kevin worked in the police department. I explained the situation to him. "You need evidence," he said. "These kinds of people do their work clean, but every coin has two sides." "What do you mean?" "Would you like me to investigate Robert?" he said. "Not officially, of course, as a friend." "Yes," I said without hesitation. A week later, Kevin called me. "Want to meet?" he said. "I have some interesting things to show you." We met at a coffee shop. The file Kevin brought was about Robert. "This guy looks clean, but he's not," Kevin said. "He's been involved in some suspicious business in the past, sabotaging rival companies' work, bribery in city contracts. None of it was proven, but there are suspicions." I looked at the file. It contained information about Robert's former business partners. Most of these partners had either gone bankrupt or left the city. "What's interesting," Kevin said, "is that all these partners say the same thing. They claim Robert deceived them, kicked them out of partnerships after making money." So what can I do now? Be patient. These kinds of people eventually make mistakes. If you can catch that mistake. After this conversation, I started making my plan. I needed to find Robert's weak points. I tried to learn from Sarah about his daily routines, where he spent time, who he was friends with. "Dad's been really stressed lately," Sarah would say. "He's starting a new project. It's a very important job." What was this new project? I needed to find out somehow. I started going to a coffee shop near Robert's office to observe him. He came and went at the same time every day. He usually had lunch at the same restaurant. One day, I followed him. He was doing inspections at a large plot of land outside the city. The deputy mayor was with him. What was this project? Why was it being kept secret? When I got home, I started researching online. I investigated that plot of land's history, the city's plans, the bidding situation. And I discovered something very interesting. No official bid had been opened for that plot of land yet. But Robert was making plans there. This meant the bidding was being manipulated. While I was thinking about how to use this information, Robert called me again.
"I'm asking for the last time,"
He said.
"What's your decision?"
"I'm still thinking," I said.
"Don't think too much. My patience is running out."
"Okay, I understand, but I need a little more time for such a big decision."
I'm giving you 1 week. In 1 week, you'll either accept my offer or face the consequences.
Perfect. He had given me exactly the time I needed. I immediately called Kevin and shared the information I had found.
This is very serious.
He said,
Bid manipulation is a crime. But you need evidence.
"How can I find evidence?"
You need to record their meetings or get their documents.
But how was I going to do that? Robert was already suspicious of me. Then an idea came to mind. I didn't want to lie to Sarah, but I had no other choice. I told her I was curious about Robert's new project. "It's related to architecture," I said. "Maybe I can learn something." Sarah innocently asked her father about the project. Robert naturally didn't give details, but he told Sarah, "We'll be doing paperwork at home next week." This was my opportunity. "I'll take you shopping that day," I told Sarah. "Let your parents spend time together." Sarah was very happy. "How thoughtful of you," she said. But I was making completely different plans. That week, I prepared. I bought a small recording device. I tried to memorize the layout of Robert's office. I asked Sarah about the rooms in the house, learned which room he worked in. On the planned day, I took Sarah shopping. She would spend time at the mall with Patricia. At 2 o'clock, I went to Robert's house. When I rang the bell, he opened the door. "What are you doing here?" he asked in surprise. "Sarah forgot her purse," I said. "I'll just get it and go." He let me in. I turned on the recording device and hid it in my pocket. "Since you're here," he said, "take a look at these documents too. Since you're an architect, you might have an opinion." This was exactly what I wanted. He took me to his study. On the desk were projects, documents, plans. I quickly looked through them. This project was really big, and officially, no bid had been opened yet. "When will the bid for this land be opened?" I asked innocently. "In 2 months," he said. "But we're sure we'll win, because—" He stopped. He looked at me suspiciously. "Because our project is very good," he finished. But it was too late. The recording device had captured everything. "Who prepared these plans?" I asked. "A special team," he said. "We have friends at City Hall. They gave us the criteria in advance." And there it was. This statement was enough. "Very impressive," I said. "You'll really be successful." "Of course we will. This is how business works. You'll learn too if you work with me." We talked a bit more, then I left. Now I had a record that would prove Robert's crime. That evening I listened to the recordings, over and over. Everything was very clear. Robert had openly confessed to bid manipulation. The next day I met with Kevin and showed him the recordings. "This is perfect," he said. "Now we can take action." "What will we do?" "We'll send these recordings to the appropriate channels, both the City Hall and the DA's office. But you should be prepared too. When this guy gets angry, there's no telling what he might do." Kevin was right. After making this move, there would be no going back. That night, I decided to tell Sarah everything. I couldn't keep it secret anymore. "Sarah, there's something very important I need to talk to you about," I said. She sat down and listened carefully. I told her about the threats her father made to me, how he sabotaged my business, how he tried to manipulate me. Then I told her I had discovered the bid manipulation. Sarah was shocked. "This isn't possible," she said. "Dad wouldn't do such things." "Do you want to listen to the recordings?" I said. At first, she wanted to refuse, but then she agreed. We listened to the recordings together. With each sentence, Sarah's face became paler. Finally, she started crying. "How is this possible?" she asked. "He's my father." "I'm sorry," I said. "But now we need to decide what we're going to do." "What will you do?" she asked. "I'm going to give these recordings to the authorities. I have no other choice." Sarah was silent for a long time. Then she raised her head and looked at me. "You're right," she said. "This is the right thing to do." The next day, Kevin and I delivered the recordings to the DA's office. We also reported to City Hall. Just 2 days later, everything exploded. In the morning news, I saw the raid on Robert's company.
police were seizing documents. He had been taken in for questioning. The phone started ringing. Sarah's uncle was calling. "What did you do?" he was shouting. "Robert's been detained." Then Patricia called. She was crying. "How could you do this to us?" she was saying. "We considered you family." But the worst was Sarah's look at me. She knew everything was true, but she was still suffering. "You destroyed my family," she said through tears. This was a very painful moment, but it was what needed to be done.
Robert was released 3 days later, but the investigation continued. The bid was canceled. Several City Hall employees were also included in the investigation. It became big news in the media. Headlines like, "Famous developer faces bid manipulation charges," were published. Robert's reputation was shaken. His clients started losing trust in him. He couldn't get new projects, and most importantly, he no longer had the power to threaten me. 2 weeks later, he called me. "Let's meet," he said. His voice sounded very tired. We met at a coffee shop. He had completely changed. There was no trace of his old self. "Why did you do it?" he asked. "Because you tried to destroy me," I said. "You tried to separate me from my wife. You wronged me." "That's how the business world works," he said. "The strong wins." "No," I said. "The right wins." He was silent for a long time. "I lost my daughter," he finally said. "I'm not the one who lost her. Your wrongdoings did." "Can I take it back?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "That's between you and Sarah."
6 months have passed. The case against Robert continues. He'll probably get a fine and be banned from business for a while. Sarah's relationship with him is going through a very difficult period. She's suffering because she loves her father, but she can't approve of what he did. "I know you made the right choice," she tells me, "but I'm still sad." I understand her too. It's not easy. My business has recovered. After Robert's sabotage stopped, my clients came back. I've even started getting new projects, and the best part is I don't have to answer to anyone anymore. I'm standing on my own feet. Last week, Sarah told me she's pregnant. We're very happy. "Will you tell your father?" I asked. "I don't know," she said. "We'll see over time."
I'm sharing this story with you because I think there's a lesson here that everyone should know. No one has the right to belittle you. No one has the right to control your life. And if someone is wronging you, you don't have to stay silent. But at the same time, you need to be careful. When fighting these kinds of people, you shouldn't stoop to their level. You need to go the right way. If I had responded to Robert the same way, if I had done dirty business like him, I would have eventually become someone at his level. But I used the law, I used justice, and in the end, I won. Of course, not everything is perfect. We have problems with Sarah's family. Maybe it will never be completely fixed, but at least now they respect me. Patricia called last week and said she wanted to see her grandchild. This is a small step, but still a step. Robert still doesn't talk to me. Maybe he never will. But I don't care anymore. He's living with the consequences of his own choices. Last month, one of Robert's former partners called me. "I heard what you did," he said. "Well done. That man ruined my life years ago too. But no one dared to stand up to him." "Why?" I asked. "Because he was powerful. He had money, he had influence. But you found his weak point." "What was his weak point?" "His arrogance," he said. "He thought he was invincible. That's why he made mistakes." This was very true. Robert was so confident that he played openly against me, and this brought his downfall. Now I'm growing my own business. Maybe one day I'll do projects as big as his. But I'll never be like him. Because real power isn't in your money. It's in your character. Real success isn't in crushing others. It's in staying true to your values. And real victory isn't in destroying your enemies. It's in showing them the right way. Thank you for listening to the story, everyone. I hope it was a story that gave you something. If you're experiencing similar situations, remember, you're never alone. There's always a right way. And if you're patient, if you don't stay silent in the face of injustice, you'll eventually get the respect you deserve. See you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.